I get questions every day, people asking me what's wrong with their cars when they're experiencing some issues. Now, these 0304 Cobras are getting a little older, and sometimes they have issues where people will tell me that the car's cutting out or it's losing power. And sometimes it's difficult to diagnose the issue over the internet. Sometimes people will send me a video and I can see mostly what's happening, but without the car there, I can't, troubleshoot it or do anything. So I have to tell them the types of things that I would do if it was my car. And, with these cars, a lot of times it's the ignition coils when they start getting old and they cut out a little bit, then you get a little misfire, usually under load. It's rarely the spark plugs unless somebody's run the car lean and they've melted ground straps and the plugs die out, or if they're completely fouled up. But in this case, a friend had sent this video in and said the car is falling on its face when it gets into the higher RPM range and it's cutting out. Here's the video. Now, there's a lot of things that you could suspect this is. The mass airflow sensor could be clogged up or dirty. The ignition coils could be bad. There's, all sorts of stuff. Bad fuel, I've even seen. Old fuel sitting in the tank doing that. But in this case, my friend had dropped the fuel tank and said that he found the culprit. And he had told me he'd actually dropped the tank earlier. So you would think it wasn't pumps or anything because he had recently done that. But in this case, one of the feed lines to the fuel pumps had burst. Here's the picture. You can see here, this is what it should look like with the little Y and the fuel lines joining together. And this is what he found, a burst fuel line. Yes, these fuel lines are getting older. They've been submerged in fuel for 20 years. And this is an issue that's not very fun because you don't want to have to drop the tank and do all the work to see if this is it. But in this case, it was rewarding to find out that this was the issue and the work of dropping the tank was worth it. So hard to diagnose something like this when it's internal. Hard to diagnose it over the internet, but this was an example that I think we can all learn from. So hopefully everybody can use this information and hopefully it'll help somebody out. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned for more Mustang content.